Hello everybody. It's very good and energetic for me to work and talk to young people like you, because in my clinical practice I do a lot of work with the Gen Z and the millennials. And look at the topic, chaos to control. Chaos is what defines a lot of the generation today I work with, especially Instagram, Reels, bloopers, all of that. So that's a topic given to me, chaos to control thoughts and mental peace. If you look at every element, it's quite a lot, but I have to squeeze it in 30 minutes, so I'm going to try my best. Little bit about me. People only catch the past life regression bit. I don't know why, because I've done a lot of work in, working with childhood trauma, inner child integration work, clinical hypnotherapy, a lot of psychotherapy modalities. In fact, I was here in your college 3 years ago to give a talk to a bunch of psychology students as well. So that's about me. I've also co-authored a book for cancer patients, and we have a center here in Ahmedabad. We work with medical institutions because we do a lot of research. We are doing clinical trials on the modalities that we use to help people with mental health issues. We work with sports performers, and we are also into doing a lot of research and publishing papers, because that is something that is missing in a lot of in the field of area that I work with, which is hypnotherapy, regression work, trauma work, etc. So we are doing a lot of research as well. We use a lot of technology. My husband is an IT guy. In fact, we both have a corporate background. We have worked in the corporate sector in 4 different countries. And now we are in this field of wellness. So we bring it all together. We use a lot of technology and devices for the work that we do for the measurements and the clinical trials. We have a list of publications. In fact, this is there are 2 or 3 more added to this in the area of childhood trauma. So that is a bit about me. And like she said, that I'm very active on Instagram and Facebook. In fact, I was always on Facebook, and my kids told me, Mom, Facebook is a dinosaur generation. You know, if you really want to reach out to us, you should come to Instagram. So last 2 years, I have been very active on Instagram. A lot of my content is out there, and that's my Instagram handle. So if you're interested, you can check that out. So I want to ask you a few questions before I talk what I want to talk. And how many of you over here have that last minute submission panic or anxiety? Please raise your hand. Oh man, close to 50%. How many of you don't like going home because there's a lot of chaos at home, a lot of arguments, discussions, fights? Oh, that's even more than the previous one. Okay, interesting. How many of you feel tired even after you feel you've got good sleep? Like you can't wake up in the morning, like you're all lethargic. Okay, there you go. Assuming you've got good sleep, not that you slept at 4 after going through Instagram. Okay. So all these are signs of, okay, how many of you have endless toxic discussions with your friends which lead to nowhere? No conclusion? Nothing. Okay, this is the highest. Okay, so, well, so that's what we are talking about then. We are talking of chaos in our life, yeah? All these things that I mentioned are the causes and the repercussions or the outcomes of chaos, yeah? It's a very small word, like 5 alphabets, right? But chaos is huge in this generation and time because of information overload, because of so much of multitasking that we do. Like I know my own kids are eating and then watching Instagram reels and parallelly chatting with their friends on WhatsApp. Sometimes they don't know iska message usko chala gaya, and then there is another whole big list of cover-ups they have to do, right? So there's a lot of chaos that is in the system within and outside. And if you understand chaos, chaos is to do with uncertainty, unpredictability, lack of structure, right? Do you agree? Chaos is lack of structure, unpredictability, last minute stuff. Some people say, I thrive on chaos. Well, it's great to say that, but if you understand the physiology of chaos, chaos usually is accompanied by a lot of anxiety, fear, uncertainty, right? Insecurity, kya hoga, kaise hoga, kab hoga, right? And then at a body level, there is hypervigilance. So you have your fight and flight system that is triggered, your amygdala, which is your fear center in your brain, gets hyperactive, hypervigilant, perpetually switched on. And this results in energy drains. So after a huge chaotic arrangement, probably for events like this, you end up feeling energetically drained, emotionally drained. And this causes, of course, breakdowns. The more breakdowns you have, a lot of you then go into the need to control. And then this goes into a cycle. So the more you need to control, your system can still be in a chaos, and it can add to more and more stress, more and more chaos, more and more breakdowns, and the cycle continues till it settles in your body as a physiological imbalance or a behavioral imbalance. Physiological imbalance, I mean, शुरू में होता है digestive issues होता है, sleep disorder होता है, उसके बाद थोड़ा और ज़्यादा chronic issues आना शुरू हो जाता है. So that is the physiology of chaos. Now let's talk of the other extreme, which is control. How many of you are perfectionists, like to do things perfectly on time? अरे minority में है भाई. Okay. How many of you don't like last minute surprises? Like you hate birthday party surprises, you want things planned and organized. Yeah, again a minority, but there. Yeah, I'm in this group. How many of you get upset around people who are unpredictable? You want everything in order, right? Yes, okay. So that's the domain of control. Yeah? I see, as a therapist, I see this as the other extreme of chaos, right? So one end is chaos. अरे जो भी है लाओ चलेगा सब कर लेंगे. The other is control, where I have to have everything planned. I'm in this group because before I came here today, I had my slide changer. I tested it at home. I tested it at here, right? I have a backup and backup and backup. So that is control. Okay? Control is again marked. Usually control comes when you are wanting to run away from chaos. People who love control hate chaos. Yeah? And that need to control stems from a lot of things. So if you are living in an environment that is chaotic, unpredictable at home, then oftentimes we cope up by doing everything else that is within our control and controlling it. Right? So my clothes have to be in a certain place, my shoes have to be in a certain place, I would go on time, I would do things in a certain way. And that need to control, yeah, also causes certain stress in your system because you're not going with the flow, right? Ultimately, there's only so much you can control, right? So also, extreme control leads to energy drains as well, leads to suppressions and breakdowns because clearly you want to have everything around you in a certain way. Okay, people will say, "Arey, you are a control freak." I know so many kids who say, "My mom is a control freak," or "My dad is a control freak," and then I see the whole series that happens psychologically because of that. Yeah, what goes on? I see like many people are nodding their heads. So the more is the need to control. Yeah, again that cycle of control, chaos, and eventually excessive control can also lead to OCD behaviors, compulsive behaviors. Right? So anything out of place triggers. Yeah, you can't handle it. You scream, you shout, you have a breakdown. So if you ask me as a therapist, I see this chaos control. Oh, I can't see the slide here. Okay. So one end is the chaos. To cope up with chaos, you go to the extreme end of control. Okay. And the answer is somewhere in between. So the happiest people are those who can maneuver through in a balanced way. Right or wrong? Would you agree? Yeah. Always being in a chaotic situation, thriving in chaos is not necessarily good for your health and physiology. And always being in a controlling situation where you need to control everything is also not good because ultimately we know that your environment is not going to be in your control all the time. Other people's actions are not in your control, right? So somewhere, both these extremes lead to a dysregulated body, dysregulated nervous system, affecting your physiology and eventually affecting your mental health as well. So the answer lies somewhere in between where we say that state of balance, going in the flow. How many of you have heard about the flow state? Nobody? We have psychology students here? Okay, Mihaly, with a very complicated Russian surname, is the guy who has researched extensively on the flow state. Flow state is where you are in a state of complete alignment with what you are doing. Neither chaos nor control. You must Google it up, flow state. And flow state is marked by a coherence in your mind-body system. Coherence means perfect alignment. Okay? So that is the answer. Now, of course, we all understand that, today whatever we are, mentally, physically, is a sum total of not just of what we are, but our environment, our family, our experiences, our peer pressure, our society and community. Is that right? Yeah, would you agree with this slide that you see? We are a sum total. We are constantly interacting with the environment, our family, people around us, and that impacts us, yeah, in more ways than one. let me come to one more concept that I would like to share regarding chaos and control is thought. So we know that before every action there is a thought, right? Do you agree? Even if you recognize the thought or not, the thought is the beginning of every action. Thought usually, if you hang on to the thought for a long time, it gives rise to an emotion. Would you agree? Yeah? When you let that emotion linger for too long, it affects your energy and eventually your body. Yeah? So simple example is if you have a thought that your boyfriend is cheating on you and you keep thinking about it, you'll start feeling sad and depressed. You continue to think of it. You'll at the end of the day be very, very drained off or very hyper, like abhi to jaake ladke aati hu, confront karke aati hu. And ultimately, if you've lingered with that for 2 days, you might have a migraine, a headache, sleepless nights, indigestion issues, blah, 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 right? So this is the cycle where thoughts create emotions, emotions affect the body. So if you keep this in mind, if we want to be in a mental peace, which are the areas you should work on? Ideally, what should you change? Yeah, well, easier said than done. Yeah? Where do thoughts come from? Do they come from the universe? God gives you thoughts? Absolutely, absolutely. Very good. So thoughts come from 2 places. Your environment. So if you are living in a Brazilian forest in a cave, you would not have the thought of posting an Instagram story, would you? Right? So thoughts come from your environment. Thoughts also come from your own subconscious mind, which is your beliefs, experiences, perceptions, habits, blah, blah, blah. So thoughts are coming from both these areas. So if you want to change your thoughts, what do you need to change? Again, can you change the environment? What is your locus of control? Can you change your environment all the time? Absolutely. You cannot change your environment all the time. You can only change it to a certain extent. Can you change your subconscious mind? Nobody knows? Sometimes, right? But it is a bit complex because you have to change your belief systems, you have to overwrite your past files, your habits, your perceptions, everything that your parents have hammered into your head from 0 to 18, all that has to change, right? Which may not be that easy. The third place, which most psychologists don't think of working, is the body. Yeah? So the matrix can be actually flipped, okay? We usually think that to change the body, to change your physiology, you have to work at the thoughts and the emotions. But the most recent research by the Heart Math Institute in the area of mind-body sciences say that you can change your physiology, you can change your heartbeats and your heart patterns so that you can change your emotions and your thoughts. Pardon me? Okay, possibly. I don't know. I know the Heart Math Institute because I'm a coach from there. So anyway, okay. So first let us understand a little bit about the mind very shortly. I don't want to, this talk is not on the mind, but essentially, I think most of you know the conscious, subconscious mind, right? And subconscious mind is practically 95%. So if you want to change your thoughts, you can do it with your logical conscious mind, but it will still be influenced by the 95% of your subconscious, which is your years of accumulated experiences, beliefs, perceptions, stories that others have told about you and you have told about yourself, right? So changing the subconscious mind can be a bit tricky. It takes time. It probably requires therapy. It probably requires much more work. Changing the body is easier than that, okay? So if you see this slide, what it all says is that when you want to change the results and actions, the traditional thought was you change your thoughts and emotions and attitudes and it changes your actions. But now what I'm challenging you is you can also change your physiology so that it can change your thoughts, emotions, and eventually your actions. And how do you change your physiology is what I'm going to talk about here today in the next few minutes. So did you know that the heart talks to the brain? How many of you know this? 2. Traditionally, unfortunately, we are not taught this in biology. They should. Traditionally, we are taught that brain is the master organ, right? Brain is the one that gathers all information and eventually regulates the body. So brain talks to the rest of the body. But now what we are finding out is that actually the heart is communicating to the brain more than the brain communicating to the rest of the body. And the heart communicates to your brain through your heart signals. Okay, what your doctors call as ECG, but this is the internal difference between the signals. And if you see this is not unfortunately taught either in medical schools. In fact, most of the doctors in Ahmedabad, including heart specialists we spoke to, have no clue about this, though it is well researched and published. Neither do psychologists know of this. The heart is, through the vagus nerve, continuously sending messages to your brain. It doesn't talk in Greek, German, English, Hindi, Marathi. It talks in the language of the heart signals, okay? And these heart signals and the way the electric signals go, the pattern of the signal will tell the brain whether the body is okay or whether the body should prepare for danger or should the body relax. So this heart's communication to the brain is continuously happening, and the heart is giving messages about the organs, about the breathing, the blood pressure, and accordingly the brain regulates your system. Now put this in the context of chaos and control. Okay? One thing is, you are in a chaotic environment, yeah, and you pick up the chaos, and the brain picks up chaos through the heart signals, and the brain will say, okay, fight and flight, get anxious, get stressed, do something about it. Right? The other way to look at it is, well, can the heart be trained to be in a certain way, to give a certain response, so that the signals to the brain can be coherent? And the answer is yes. Typically in stress, when the heart signals go to the brain, they are in hyperarousal or hypoarousal. I know this sounds a little complicated, but it is not. In fact, it is very simple. If you see the slides, you will relate to a lot of these mental, emotional states of hyper and hypoarousal. So whenever you are angry, upset, panic, frustrated, and anxious, your heart rate will go up, right? You have experienced that, panic attack. The heart signals are in the zone of fight and flight, sympathetic mode. When you are relaxed or extremely shut down, the heart signals are different. And the trick is, if you can train your heart to give out signals in a cohesive way, to always stay in a state of balance, then your physiology and your thoughts and emotions can stay in that state of balance. Trust me, this is much easier than working with the subconscious mind, because I have spent 10 years working with the subconscious minds of people. It takes forever to change, but this is much easier, okay? Okay, so can you see the two waveforms? These are actually taken on the device that we have. The upper waveform, can you see how beautiful, coherent it is? That is the heart signals of a person who is experiencing positive emotions, who is in coherence. Can you see the lower heart signals? What do they mean? You look at the pattern only, kya lagta hai usse? Stress, incoherent, right? So the heart patterns of incoherent mind are what you see below, and those are typically connected to energy drain. Yeah, you drain out energy, especially after those nasty discussions, or when you have a meeting for which you have prepared overnight, you have energy drain. That is the heart signal. The above signal is when you are in a zone of coherence or energy renewal. Okay, so we have to train the heart. We can actually train the heart to give out coherent signals. When the heart gives out coherent signals, there is a high possibility that you will be in a state of calm, balance, and you will be able to be in that state of flow. Clear? Neither control nor chaos, a state of mental balance. How do you do that? Simple humming and breathing practices. Okay, it sounds so simple, but the thing is that there is enough research to demonstrate that it works. So let me show you a video. Can we play this video, please? One sec. I think it should work. 1 minute. You're not able to hear, right? Are you able to hear this?
On a mobile phone, you can see that. Simple waveform on a mobile phone. So I am going to follow that waveform in my breathing cycle. So when the sine wave starts going down, I'm going to exhale. And when it goes up, I'm going to inhale. And on the PC, we are going to show you the patterns of my heart rhythm. In other words, every few seconds, we extrapolate what is my heart rate. Does it remain constant? Does it increase? Does it decrease? And that's shown on the screen.
Can you see the heart pattern? Yeah. Now, simple humming or rhythmic breathing practices can actually train your heart patterns to be in a flow state. Okay?
It's very easy to demonstrate how our heart's patterns change when you follow a certain yogic practice.
Clear? So, I want us to experience this and practice this. Okay? And I'll tell you why. Unfortunately, our mindset is that something has to be really very complex, for it to work. Like things have to be really very, very complicated and very, very hi-fi to work. But actually, simple humming and breathing practices are so simple, but they work the best. I've lived in Japan for 5 years. I know how Zen works. Zen, right? Simple. So, can we try that out right now, just a few minutes? I want you to experience this, how you can do simple humming and breathing. Before we start, I would like to show you how we have done enough research. This is just a number of about 20 people, but we have ongoing trials for more. If you see this graph, you can clearly see that in the beginning, if you see, we have the stress. The gray bars are the stress levels. Yeah, there's chaos and stress. The black line you see is the line of coherence or balance, or what we call as HRV. When there is high chaos, your coherence or your balance is very poor. When you are doing a physical activity, interestingly, the stress is high, the stress in the body is high, but your coherence is not that bad. Yeah? When you are doing simple humming, 5 to 10 minutes, your coherence becomes very high. Yeah? And your stress level becomes significantly low, even lower than when you sleep. Okay? So why I'm telling you this is because this generation today wants quick fixes. If I tell you do half an hour of meditation, nobody's going to do. If I tell you do 15-20 minutes of the self-hypnosis protocol we teach, वो भी कोई नहीं करता है. मैम 20 मिनट कौन बैठेगा आँख बंद करके, यार possible ही नहीं है, right? 10 minutes, 15 rounds, it can still rewire your nervous system to give you a state of focus and balance. Okay? If you see this is so we have hooked up this person with device that measures 24/7 their heart rate and their stress levels. And if you see this graph where the green circle is, so if you see this person started with a very high heart rate and high stress level, lunchtime there was a meeting, a phone call. If you see in that handwritten note, he has kept a tab of what all he did in that time. So in the middle of the day, when his stress level was very high, the heart rate was very high, yeah, the stress level with his blue line very high. After that, what he did a guided script. On the internet you get like guided relaxation or body awareness script, guided hypnosis script. And if you see just a few 20 minutes of guided script, his heart rate went down, his coherence went up, and his stress levels went significantly down. Why I'm telling you this is doing 10-minute interventions during your day can help you rejuvenate your energies, replenish your energies, and can prevent energy depletions. Simple practices. It is not complicated. Okay? And this has been published. We have published the data. They are in the leading medical journals, psychology journals on how humming, heart rate variability, breathing practices can reduce your stress, can reduce your energy drains. Okay? So with that, coming to chaos and control, now you know that being on the either side of the spectrum is not very good. It is good to be somewhere in the middle where you are in a state of balance so that you can have an improved concentration, improved focus. You don't have to be either too chaotic or too much in control. Okay, does that make sense? Shall we do a quick round of practice so that you know? Okay, so there are other techniques like I have mentioned here on the slide to change your physiology. All I want you to understand is you can enter the matrix of this change from either the mind and thoughts or from the body. Okay, you can change your mind and thoughts through, positive thinking, journaling, therapy, changing your belief systems, mind-body practices. But like I said, it takes time, it takes energy, and it may take external intervention. But if you want to change your physiology, to change this, you can do it yourself without any external help, just by these simple practices. So I would like to spend the next 5 minutes, please, because some of you are already fidgeting and you guys are all already seeming to be like a little impatient. Let's try and do this. Sincerely, 5 minutes, please give it your best. Sit comfortably. This is not yoga. I'm not doing anything yogic here. Okay? Sit very comfortably with your spine straight. Hands can be on your lap, on your thighs, on your armchair, wherever. Yeah, doesn't matter. On your belly, wherever. Just sit very comfortably. Close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, I know some people have difficulty closing their eyes. You can leave your eyes open. Absolutely no problem. And let us take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we are going to make the humming sound. It doesn't have to be too long or too short. I want each one of you to do this, please. Everyone. You should be able to hear the vibration of your humming sound. The sound is going to soothe your nerves. Please do it. At your own pace, please do a few rounds of humming. Don't be too soft. Don't be very conscious that your neighbor is listening. Your neighbor is doing her own humming as well. Relax your face, relax your eyebrows. Notice if your shoulders are very tensed or tight. Just loosen them up. Keep humming. Don't be stiff in your body. Relax your body. This is not a yogic practice, like I said. Feel the vibrations. I should be hearing the hall humming. 5 more rounds. If there is any part of your body that is stiff, hum into that part. Feel the vibrations going into that part of your body. Relax your eyebrows, relax your forehead. A lot of you are frowning. It's a very simple, easy practice. Very nice. 2 more rounds. Keep doing the humming. Now focus your attention on your heart center with your eyes closed or open. And breathe into your heart and breathe out from the heart. Imagine the sine wave that you saw on the screen. The beautiful rhythm of your heart. Breathe in 5 seconds or 6 seconds. Breathe out 5 or 6 seconds. Keep the duration of inhalation and exhalation same. Very nice. I see some of you doing beautifully well. Just keep breathing into your heart. Let your heart feel the rhythmic pattern of your breath. Breathe into your heart, breathe out from the heart. Notice how your body feels. Notice how your mind feels. One more small step. Now try to connect to a positive emotion. Because remember, emotions affect your physiology. Recollect a moment of where you felt gratitude or love. You can think of a favorite person, a favorite holiday, a favorite place. You can recollect a memory where you felt good, peaceful. Or you can remember any person for whom you have a sense of gratitude. Try to feel that emotion in your body. Feel it. Feel that gratitude and notice how your body feels. And check your heartbeat. Check your body rhythm. Excellent. And now, slowly and gently take a deep breath and open your eyes. Okay, how did that feel? It took hardly, I think, 5 minutes. We didn't even do full 5 minutes of this, right? So this is how quickly you can reset your system, your body. Is it very difficult? Do you need a yoga mat for this? A yoga studio? A fancy, hot, sexy yoga teacher? This is so simple. You can do it anywhere, anytime. We have professionals doing this. We have students doing this in the middle of the day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you can completely switch over. You can recharge your batteries. Your mobile phone batteries, chargers you carry, this is your own internal battery charger. Okay? So, with that, so there are other self-care techniques, like I said, which we teach. Self-hypnosis we teach, positive visualization, and a whole bunch of things, but I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about... Why is this not moving? Okay, so we've done the practice, and basically we have research, like I said, that shows the efficacy of these practices, how they have proven to help improve concentration. In fact, 10 minutes of humming, if you do it over 2 weeks, you will see significant changes in your levels of concentration and focus. I'm telling you this because this is a students group. I know some of you need that for your studies and work. It's very simple practice. Please try it out in the next 2 weeks, okay? And we have worked with medical doctors, researchers, and we are already doing a lot of research in these areas, and we have been encouraged to continue pursuing this research further. So this is not just me getting an idea from a Babaji, this is based on published research and evidence, okay? So with that, I stop here. The continuum from chaos to control and finding mental peace. I would like to ask if you have any questions. Yes. Can you tell me your name and then ask the question?
Hello ma'am, my name is Kuhu and I'm a first year student here. So as you said, like at the start of your presentation, you started with chaos and control. But what about those who like are at the extreme ends of both?
Yes, this is the way out. So when you are in an extreme end of chaos to control, and then control to chaos, you saw the continuum, right, that I showed.
Yes,
the best way is to work on, like I said, you can either change the environment that is causing you the chaos, but that's not going to be possible for you, for everybody. Best way is to work with yourself. So the more and more you bring yourself in coherence, you train your heart and body to be in coherence. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You will find yourself less and less chaotic, less and less needing to control.
Okay, thank you ma'am.
Anybody else has any questions? I was told people have a lot of questions on past life regression. I'm sorry if I disappointed you. That was not the topic given to me. I can do a whole day talk on that. But the topic that was given to me doesn't connect to past life regression. Yes, anybody else has any questions, or this is it? It was quite, yes.
Ma'am, what would you suggest to the psychology students here who are going to pass out from here? Because
Yes, so I thank you. What's your name?
Bhakti.
Bhakti. So I have worked with a lot of psychology students. I have worked with psychology graduates who have done their masters and bachelors in psychology. Where I see, I'm not a psychologist, but I do a lot of psychotherapy modalities, like I work with inner child, work a lot with childhood trauma. I do a lot of work using modalities like hypnotherapy, Gestalt, NLP, inner child work. I would like to tell the psychologists is that what you learn in school, what you learn in your psychology college is only theory. I know 90% of the psychology students who come to me saying, ma'am, if I have somebody who is having panic attacks and anxiety, we are not taught. We can assess very well. So psychology students can do amazing assessments. They can give you amazing labels like BPD hai, schizophrenia hai, bipolar hai, but karna kya hai? वो नहीं सिखाते हैं स्कूल में. I would suggest please expand your knowledge to other psychotherapy techniques which can help you, because at Wellness Space we have research of more than 500 people now. We are, like I said, doing clinical trials on the efficacy of these methods. We have demonstrated how using, say, clinical hypnotherapy methods or working with childhood traumas can actually significantly reduce anxiety levels, depression levels, significantly reduce insomnia. So learn measurements, gather data, do hands-on work with clients. Just understanding the theory of things is not going to help you. Okay? We have psychology, masters in clinical psychology, counseling psychology, people coming to us and saying, ma'am, all this is fine. I can give these 5 labels to this person, but what do I do about the anxiety? Well, these are the simple methods you can do. There is, of course, a lot of other therapeutic techniques that we use, but we have demonstrated where in 4 to 6 to 8 therapy sessions, people have reduced their anxiety, depression levels. We also, I would tell the psychology students, please do a lot of research on childhood trauma. That is my area of doctorate. I have done a lot of work on it. I've still not got my PhD. I'm studying for it. But you'll be surprised that globally there are more than 350 research papers on childhood trauma and impact on mental health of adults. Whether it is criminal behavior, depression, anxiety, insomnia, chronic health issues, autoimmune disorders, everything is linked to childhood trauma, including obesity, including eating disorders. And we have seen that the more and more is the childhood trauma score. The higher the childhood trauma score, higher are the chances of all these mental and physical health issues. But unfortunately in India, there is no research, hardly 3 or 4 papers in this area. Why? India is going to have the largest number of youth population after China. India has so many babies. And still, we do not have the awareness of what physical abuse does, what sexual abuse does, what emotional and verbal abuse does to the mental health of adults. I'm not talking of working with children. I don't work with children. I work with adults who are survivors of trauma. So my message, I know my answer has been very long, but this is my work of area of passion, immense passion, and I have been pursuing it for a while now. Please focus on this. Please build awareness. I know all the parents who abuse, 90% of them do it with a good intention. I don't know of parents who intend to damage and scar their children, but they don't have the awareness. We have had clients with high physical abuse scores who come with panic attacks, anxiety, alcoholism, addictions to porn and drugs. Physical abuse. When we talk to the parents, they say, अरे मार के ही बच्चे बड़े होते हैं ना, उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है, हम भी मार खा के बड़े हुए, हम तो CEO बन गए मैडम कंपनी के, तो अगर पिताजी ने मारा नहीं होता तो हम तो कहाँ तक ये पहुँचते ही नहीं यहाँ तक, फिर हमको रिसर्च दिखाना पड़ता है. So please expand your areas of knowledge, work, see what's happening globally. See how world over in psychology, neuroscience, physiology. And I would say one thing, one last message I would leave you with. Unfortunately in India, we have 2 extremities in mental health. We have the psychiatrist who most of the time only work on the body. They only give you chemicals, right? I don't know how many psychiatrists actually take a 2-hour detailed history of the client and work on any modalities that change the files of the mind. So that is one end of the spectrum. There's a lot of research there. There is a lot of development there. But we have one end where we have psychiatrists giving medications. On the other hand, we have psychologists who do assessments, but very ill-equipped to handle practical clients who come to you with, say, insomnia, panic attacks. So we are trying to bridge the gap. Because the medical community and psychiatrists are not going to even look at you. If you say, childhood trauma, regression work, they'll say this is hocus pocus. So we are spending so much of time in publishing papers, gathering research, collecting data so that people listen to us. There is validity, right? So if you're a psychology student, reach out to us. We are looking for interns. We are looking for passionate psychologists who can help us do this data collection, analysis, and take this work forward. We want to bridge the gap. We don't want to be hocus pocus and we don't want to be pure medical. Okay? Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Riri. And also I feel as a parent, something that hasn't been discussed is COVID and trauma. People are like, बच्चे तो घर पे रहे हैं, उनको क्या होगा? And now with schools reopening, there have been a lot of interesting cases as a health reporter that I've come across with children suddenly having tics, with them not being able to socialize, So of course, for another day, but I think the kind of work that you've been doing on this, I'm a huge fan of yours and I follow, as I said, you to the T when it comes to on Instagram because I don't get to meet her regularly and I'm too cheap to take a session. So
No. But yeah, I'm very passionately talk about my work on Instagram. So do follow me. Most of my followers are in the age group of 18 to 30. Don't go by my color of my hair. I'm not so old. I just don't color it. So thank you so much for this. And I think I've done my time, probably finished earlier.